this all leads to what to do next. And there are a few Giants, tons of Giants who are free agents. But I think there are a few who are really kind of the central focus of this conversation right now. Brandon Belt is on the injured list. We know that the knee injury, he's even admitted is career threatening. Evan Longoria left with the hamstring. This is the third time this year, same hamstring. He leaves injured. Carlos Rodon, we know he's going to opt out. These are some of the big names. Let's go name by name, and you tell me where you're at with some of these things for next year. Where are you on the idea of Brandon Belt?
I just think both parties need to move on. Psychologically, the Giants, Brandon, Giants fans, the knee is not getting better. We're going to set ourselves up for consistently being let down moving forward, because it seems to me it's over. And I like the guy. If he wants to play and he wants to find a job somewhere else, all the power to him. I think a lot of Giants fans will root for him. It can't be here. They psychologically need to move on. They need to turn the page. And I feel bad for the guy that it's going down this way. But Mark, they can't carve out a role for him and having him miss time. And then, do we put him on the IL? We're one guy short again. Can't pitch hit because, Brandon, it can't even be used today. And let's wait on it because, maybe it'll feel better tomorrow. They just can't go down this road. There's not enough slots for them to invest in him.
Okay, before I weigh in on that, I'm gonna pair another player, get your answer there, and then tell you why I'm doing that. Here's the tougher one. Evan Longoria has a 912 OPS in the month of August. He's been their best player in the month of August for sure. He's always been a stabilizing force at third base. Very, very good over there defensively. And there's no immediate other answer at third base for the Giants next year. And the option would only cost them about $13 million, which isn't crazy.
Yeah.
So in or out on Evan Longoria next year.
A week ago, I was in. Today broke me. Him running from second to third and getting the hamstring strain. I'm like, that's it. I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I cannot roll into next year with two guys at the corner of my infield who are going to go on the IL a half dozen times a year. Individually, like Mark, it's driving me insane. He is a good player. He's always injured. And I just, as a fan, I cannot watch him get to second base and go, well, if we get two hits here, he might score from second. I just can't do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm glad you said it that way, because we're sitting here looking at a lot of these guys, and we know where it is now in the world of baseball, which parenthetically is one of the reasons I can't stand this arbitration system, because it does lead to so many guys, an Aaron Judge, whatnot. It leads to so many guys who are like, okay, I'm a free agent. Give me the big contract. And it's like, well, you're 30 and you want 9 years. Yeah. And we know what the back half of that contract's going to look like. And he rightfully would respond and be like, well, I should have been a free agent 5 years ago, but the game doesn't allow that. So here we are. And it forces teams to sign what end up being terrible deals. So we know what happens at age 35. That's what Brandon Belt is about to turn. He'll be 35 in spring training next year. Brandon Crawford right around the same neighborhood. Evan Longoria with his 912 OPS is about to turn 37 years old. This isn't fair. He's done very well when he's played. Mm-hmm. The Giants have to be younger. And you cannot, even for 1 year, as you said, too many times this year where you can't get from second to third base without being hurt. Like if you even watch the highlight of Evan getting hurt, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Joe, about 3 months ago, I wrenched my back. And for about 3 or 4 days, I was walking around, right? Like walking around looking like an old man. And so, whenever someone asks, oh, how'd you wrench your back? Getting out of my car. When injuries start happening when you weren't doing anything, I'm 10 years older than Evan Longoria, right? Yeah. When they start happening from doing nothing, that's when you can't trust your body anymore. So $13 million into a guy who can't get from second to third base, God love him. He's been an unbelievable Major League Baseball player, and he's been really good in this month of August. the Giants have got to get younger. There's no room for new contracts, people who are north of 35 years old.
I feel like Brandon Belt specifically, and you could throw Crawford in there, especially this year because he's been hurt. But I think for the majority, Crawford and Longoria are the microcosm of the push and pull between being loyal and that guy's a good player, but damn it, he's always getting hurt and he's old. You know what I mean? And it's this, we're oscillating between the two sides of the diagram when in reality they're right in the middle, and that makes it so difficult to move off someone because when they're there, they're not bad. They're above average baseball players to great baseball players at times, especially Longoria defensively and Belt when he was hot. I mean, he was red hot for this team last year, but they're injured so often. Yep. I'm at the point of no return. And even if I had to rip the Band-Aid off and play two guys who are lesser ball players every single day next year, I would rather psychologically do that because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. And we're expecting different results when we know what's going to happen. They're going to get hurt, and they're going to do just enough to be like, well, maybe another year.
Listen, the bottom line is whether it's fair or not, this is a suitable reason to move on from players. I've never really believed the 49ers when they said that this is why they're moving on from Jimmy Garoppolo, but man, they used that line over and over. We just weren't able to count on him being healthy, which is a funny statement in football because I ain't counting on anybody being healthy after any game ever in the NFL. But baseball is different. Even Tommy LaStella this year has been painful to watch. He's only 33, but still, you're looking at players, the lower half of the body breaks. It just does. And in baseball, I think it's fair to look, injuries are going to happen, but it's fair to be looking for players who can get from first to third on a base hit to right without having to go on the IL. And the Giants just have too many guys where that has not been the case. And by the way, Farhan Zaidi did say last week he prioritized youth. He said, this is good. We've got to get younger. So they know. And so I don't know if the conversation with Evan is fair, but that's what I'd say. We can't do it. We need someone who's going to play the games.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then like when they get on base, this is the worst. Either of them will get to second base. And I'm like, you literally need 2 hits at minimum to get these guys home.
No, how many innings have the Giants had this year where they got 3 hits and they didn't score?
They got hit by a pitch, had multiple walks and multiple hits, and scored 1 run. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. It's like mathematically impossible.
Right. It's the opposite of Little League where you can just keep running. There's Little League, 1 hit, everybody scores. It's all good. It's the opposite of that.
How about this one? Mark, how about this one? I think it was Crawford hit a ball. Maybe it was Lamont Wade. Oh, it was Estrada. Hit a ball that hit the wall and goes up in. And instead of getting a triple and 2 guys scoring, it's an automatic ground rule double, and Crawford has to stay at third base. That's the year in a nutshell right there.
No doubt.
Ball. Oh, instead of the triple, no. That ball bounced in. It's over the fence. You go to second. Crawford stay at third base. I mean, it's just driving me.
What about Rodon? And here's what I hear most people say about Rodon. And this is, I will clap back on this because a lot of people go, why the hell would Rodon want to be on the Giants? Because they don't have any good players and he's going to want to win. Rodon's looking for a long-term deal. I don't know any player who's going to look at a 5-year outlook and not think that team can win unless you're a team like the A's, quite frankly, that anytime they sniff winning, they give all their players away. The Giants wouldn't do that. The Red Sox, the Cardinals, the Braves, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Yankees. I don't think you have to worry about that with those teams. And this is a wonderful area to pitch. It's a great ballpark in which to pitch. He has now had his best year in professional baseball in the 1 year he was here. So I totally think that he would come back. Plus, I think guys are motivated by one thing above all else, and that is just the highest bidder.
Yeah.
But my question is, will the Giants ever be the highest bidder especially when it comes to a pitcher who is probably going to command at minimum a 4 to 5 year contract?
I will raise my hand and say, I will be the first person who is going to say, I don't care what happens in year 4 and 5. If you gave me comparable years over the last 2 that he's had to the next 3 for Carlos Rodon, all day. I'm doing it all day. He has been an exciting Giant, a guy who has emotion and has fire on a team that desperately needs it. And then look at the statistics. He is striking out guys at a higher rate than at any point in his career. He's on pace. I don't know if he's going to qualify with the amount of starts. He's on pace to get near Christy Mathewson's modern day record going back to 1900 in terms of strikeouts in a Giants uniform in one season, 252. Like, this guy is having a magical, magical season. And I get it. He lost his mind in the dugout a couple times. I don't love that either. I think these are the pressures of being on a one-year deal, and every pitch you feel like $100 million is on the line at every given time. This dude is a stud. And if you told me Logan, Webb, and Rodon are in the rotation next year, I don't care who my 8 fielders are out in the field. I know when those 2 get on the mound, I have a chance to win. And that's how you neutralize great lineups. Elite pitching. I'm all in on Rodon coming back.
Yeah, I'd love it too. But here's my, and I think everyone else's prediction. During the winter meetings this year, Carlos Rodon will have his 30th birthday. Last year, during the winter meetings, Kevin Gausman had his 31st birthday. And someone offered him 5 years and $100 million. And the Giants went, I got a better idea. We get this guy with the exact same production for 2 years, as opposed to giving Kevin Gausman 5 years. And they didn't even know if it was going to be 2 years. It might only be 1 year. And that's exactly what it's going to end up being with Rodon. So my sense is, as much as we all now want to do that because we've seen what it looks like, is they're going to try to go find whoever the next Carlos Rodon is and do it for a year or two. I don't know if that exists, and we'll see what the market will bear for Rodon. Gausman's been very good in Toronto as well, but I bet, somewhere along the road, 2 years from now, Farhan will probably be like, look, Kevin Gausman is 7-13. See, we told you. That will probably happen. And therefore, I would predict that he probably is going to play for a different team next year.
Look, that might be so. He would be priority 1 for me, for the Giants, for this offseason. You sign him up, boom, okay? Now I'm good. I got 2/5 of my rotation moving forward. I'll worry about Cobb and DeSclafani and Wood and whomever. And when Harrison does come up, who's their top prospect, some accounts have him as the 13th best overall prospect in baseball, some 18, some 23. He's elite. He is the best lefty starter in all the minors, essentially. When Harrison comes up, you can dream about a rotation in a 3-game series or a 5-game series. Webb, Rodon, Harrison. That's as good as anyone in the National League. And that's what to me, pitching is where it starts. And we won 3 championships because of pitching. I'm not saying the game doesn't evolve. It does. But my God, that's the kind of rotation that you can get butts in the seats with.
Yeah, although the other thing to bring up in this conversation, and I know this makes everyone cringe right now, there's 2 people we know are in the rotation next year that are exciting, which is Logan Webb and Alex Cobb has obviously been we've been telling you all year he's been low-key good, and now in the second half of the year you've seen it. Alex Cobb is someone you can trust, but Alex Wood and Anthony DeSclafani are also in this rotation. And so if you are looking to Harrison to come up, I mean, that's already 5 guys right there. I know you want more than 5, but are the Giants going to feel like they can throw big money at another starting pitcher with all of the commitments they've already got?
Well, it's a totally fair point. Plus, I'm sure they're thinking, well, the $30 million we're going to allocate to Rodon, what if we put $15 million of that into our bullpen? Like, that's probably what they're thinking, and that makes a lot of sense. My counter to that would be, why not throw DeSclafani in the bullpen? At least as a 6th, 7th inning guy. Like, try something out. Maybe it is Alex Wood. Like, having an embarrassment of starters isn't a bad thing.
No.
That's kind of the way I'm building this thing out, because they went into this year thinking they had more arms than they needed, and we found out within a week, no, you don't have enough arms.
Yeah, exactly. It's Mark Willard and Joe Shasky, Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys, 2 episodes a week for the Giants fan. Make sure that you are subscribed.